Ilia Topuria'S manager leaked Ilia Topuria'S next fight, and it is basically exactly what I thought it was going to be. We're gonna get into it. We're gonna talk about this fight, the timing of it, and the thought process behind how the UFC are building this fight, as well as Islam Makhachev versus JDM, which I may need to do a video on JDM. Apparently, he's had some health concerns recently. I just saw that before hitting the court, but Ilia Topuria'S next fight leaked as UFC Insider teases unwanted news. Fight fans are writhing this morning with the news of Ilia Topuria'S manager Lucas Orzel appearing to leak El Matador's next fight. The now deleted Instagram story captured by users like Dolby, shout out Dolby, on X appeared to leak a possible UFC 322 lightweight title defense against Justin Gaethje, a fight that fans vehemently didn't want. Excuse me. Say goodnight, Gaethje. Hashtag and still, Luca rolls now. Whatever. These tweets. Now, Renato Moicano did leak this, on, his channel, which, we'll watch a bit of if I have time, to go back to. But I want to talk about really quickly here the idea of it being, Justin Gaethje and not Armand Sorokin, because I forgot to pull out the lightweight rankings. You clearly had three options with Ilia Topuria, right? You had Armand Sorokin, number one contender. However, he pulled out the day before UFC 311, and he got in the back races of the UFC. So he needs to earn a shot. Uh, Charles Oliveira, he knocked out. Dan Hooker, he we know that he was supposed to fight Justin Gaethje last March. Yeah, he got injured for that. I do believe Dan Hooker is one fight away. I think that Max Holloway is injured though. I thought they were going to do Dan versus Max. Gamrot coming out from a win against Ludovit Klein. I don't know what you do with him. But when you look at the lightweight roster and lightweight rankings, and you look at four names that would greatly be beneficial to Ilia Topuria'S career. Armand Sorokin, on paper, yes. Star-wise, no. Armand is not a big star. He doesn't have any major wins. Again, the Oliveira fight was close. He did TKO Benil Dariush, but I mean, he hasn't been in there against much of the top contenders. Charles Oliveira, former champion, one of the, most hyped up runs of all time. And I mean that in a good way, but like, a lot of fans behind him, miracle run. What was it, like 8-9 fight win streak until he ran into Islam Makhachev. I know he missed weight by half a pound against Gaethje, but whatever. But like, if I'm Ilia Topuria, right, I want to make sure everybody I fight now has an established legacy in which I can take. And that's what you have to look at. You know, Max Holloway is a prime example, right? Max Holloway won the belt really young, one of the youngest champions, was looked at as the greatest featherweight of all time, knocked out all those fights, which was a fight that slipped away from Ilia Topuria, right? Because Jose Aldo went down to bantamweight. And, you know, he went out there and he knocked Max all the way out. The first person ever to do that. Right after he knocked out Volkanovski, was the other guy in the GOAT conversation at featherweight. And I feel like with an Ilia Topuria, I don't want to see him become a GSP type. I don't want to see him become an Anderson Silva type. Well, I do want to see him defend the belt, but I don't see him, reaching 5, 6, 7, 8 title defenses. I think that Ilia Topuria only cares about having the best record. He wants the most accolades at the end of his career. And, I know he said the thing he wants to retire by 30 years old. I think he should push until at least 33. I feel like retiring earlier than most people do, it is a smart strategy. But with, yeah, I'm actually ahead of myself. I'm really discrediting Gaethje. Gaethje, we know he beats Fiziev in the second fight. I picked Fiziev to win. I thought Fiziev was gonna beat him. It was on short notice. I picked Dan Hooker to beat Justin Gaethje as well. You look at him recently. He had the fight where he got outschooled. He was schooled by Max Holloway on the feet, knocked out at the last second. He knocked out Dustin Poirier, but before that, beat Fiziev by decision. The first fight was really fun. He got submitted by Oliveira when he fought for the title. Beat Michael Chandler by decision, and then lost to Khabib. Now you see the trend here of loses a title fight, wins a decision, gets another title shot, um, beats Fiziev. He did beat Poirier, and yeah, he did fight Max Holloway. Well, yeah, that was for a belt. It was to the BMF belt, right? Um, but you also have to factor in Gaethje is aging. He's 36. This will be his last fight. 19 wins, a knockout, 2 submissions, 5 decisions. You know, it is a really good win for Elite to put it out on to his record. And although I think that I really did think that going in to the Islam fight with a knockout win over Arman Sarukian would be like a major talking point of, yeah, I starched your best win. Well, which he never fought Justin Gaethje, right? So I honestly think Gaethje gets spoiled though. Like maybe in Gaethje's prime, I think it is a competitive fight, but I just think that with Korea, especially like in the Oliveira fight right now, I know that Oliveira is not the same anymore. Like he definitely showed that Whiteman's skill is definitely a factor. And Volkanovski showed it when he came up or went up from Feces on Makachev. You know, there's a lot of skill within 145, and in order to hang around in that division, you can't really be a specialist. You don't see many specialists within um the lightweight division. Well, at the top of the lightweight division, I should say. Like you got Michael Chandler, mainly striker, has good wrestling, well-rounded. Benoit Anthony, mainly a striker. Norman McConnell, mainly grappler, but very well-rounded. Dawson, like, I think, I think this Gaethje fight makes sense. And I completely forgot about this. Ilia Abdelaziz. He can settle a war with Ilia Abdelaziz. Man. Oh. Now, look, I love Gaethje. I love most of the big guys in Dominance MMA, if I'm being honest. I just don't like how they get instant title shots whenever they want. What is the height difference? 4-inch height difference. Do I really see Gaethje using his reach on Topuria, though? Do I really see Gaethje using a reach advantage to his advantage? Uh, well, like I'm 90-10 on Topuria, if I'm really being honest. Well, I do like this. Again, I would have went with R1 purely because I think it just gives more of a narrative going in to the Islam fight. Well, wait, let's assume that Ilia beats Gaethje in the co-main event, calls out Islam, and then say Islam goes out there, wins the welterweight belt in spectacular fashion. You then have the biggest fight of all time, right there. You have two guys who became double champs, who are, Ilya's undefeated. Islam only got caught once. They dominate their competition, and dude, the more I'm thinking about this fight, the more I'm thinking about this card, the more I'm loving the idea of Gaethje. I didn't like it initially. I don't like giving Gaethje another title shot, but I like the narrative of Ilia Topuria going after Dominance MMA. I really do. And, you know, if Ilia Topuria, let's say, starches Justin Gaethje, does he want Islam to come back down to his weight? Or does he say, fuck it, let's go to 170? And I think he will make that decision closer. I think he makes that decision after uh, seeing how Islam does. But I recall specifically talking, or Elliot talks about where he wants this fight to happen. And this is a very interesting answer.
Que pierda en el welter y quisiera bajar otra vez al ligero? Si pierde no le doy nada. Si pierde nada. Entonces que se ponga en la cola. Ilia, ya Islam Makhachev se...
Okay, completely wrong video, but whatever, I'm gonna roll with it. So this is a video where he's asked if he loses if Ilia loses or Islam loses to JDM, are you still gonna have that fight? He said no. And obviously, I think this is straight E chess. I think that Ilia Topuria, in the back of his mind, how his head is working, he wants Islam on his record. He wants to make the most money fighting Islam as well. And, in the event that JDM can pull this off, if JDM can knock out Islam Makhachev, Ilia Topuria holds all of the cards, I feel. I feel Pereira, maybe he can get back to being, one of the main figures. If he can go out and knock Magomed Ankalaev out definitively. And then if I was him, I would just say fuck it and just go up to heavyweight. I wouldn't even bother with the trilogy with Magomed Ankalaev. If I'm being honest, purely off of how much time Pereira has left in this sport. Well, with a guy like Ilia Topuria, really young, He's going to fight 2 times this year. He'll probably fight 2 to 3 times a year. We're gonna have him for what, 3, 4, 5 more years. I really think he wants that Islam fight. I think he's just playing 3D chess. But we also have this where Islam Makhachev was asked about this fight and what weight class he would want it in.
Какая-то интрига. Мне самому тоже интересен этот бой. Может, получится сделать какой-то супер бой. Или, как я сказал, посмотрим по весу.
Я верну свое легкий чтобы ты уничтожил Топурию, и он наконец заткнулся и не говорил ничего о бойцах из Дагестана.
Все, как,
Стал махать чемпион.
как ты хочешь, все сделаем. Есть.
Alright, so I posted this clip a while ago actually, and if I was Islam, right, and the story of Islam could be the entire village, and the story that it's one of my favorite stories. I hate Dagestani fighters, but I love the story of Khabib going undefeated, winning that belt. His dad passing away, and then Islam comes right back up and claims Khabib's title, and they hold on to it until I'm trying to chase after this champion status. But imagine you have would it be the first champ fight? I think it would. Wouldn't it? I could be wrong, but okay. It would certainly be the biggest champ versus champ fight of all time. Maybe it would be, well, absolutely. As far as defending, the belt, having at least one active belt. It'd be the first time it is ever done, but I mean, it would be major, man. And without a doubt, that would have to be your main event on the White House card. Which, you know, we've all thought for a pretty long time now that this would be the main event. I made a video saying that, Max Holloway maybe could have snuck that main event out if, he didn't get injured, say, would have beaten Dan Harker. And, they would have set up the Ilia rematch with him at 155, which I think they're going to get that fight done regardless. I think Ilia absolutely wants to get that rematch and shut out Max Holloway. But again, man, for a guy like Ilia Topuria, who he defies rankings, he defies fight logic that 99% of fighters follow. This is a guy that you want to make as many super fights with as you can. Because when we look back, super fight, super fight, super fight, super fight. No, I'm just kidding. But that's what you want to see. Bryce Mitchell, he's only lost to John Silva. I think that one is going to age phenomenally. Jai Herbert, the GOAT, and then, he TKO'd Ryan Hall, who has a ton of hype behind him for being a grappler. But I don't like giving guys title shots off of one win. Especially when that win is against the number 12 contender, when you are the number 3 contender, whatever he was going into that fight. But I love the fact that we are finally doing this. We are finally building cards again to tell stories. You're finally gonna have the opportunity. They did it with Royval and Pantoja, right? I don't know why we stopped doing that for, the last couple years here. But absolutely, it'd be major MSG, one of the biggest venues in the world, one of your biggest cards each year. And it's gonna be on Paramount too. So it should be like the first free in the US fight where anybody can watch it on Paramount in the US. But yeah, very interesting to announce that Ilia is facing Gaethje in November, but I expected it. I'm pretty sure you guys did. And it's just annoying that we don't get any like hype promo packages anymore to announce fights. Like, I remember, I'm like this. The irony of this, you guys remember the promo they did when they announced Israel Adesanya versus Yoel Romero too? One of my favorite promos they've ever done. I thought the music was sick. I thought the shots were sick. Everything. And then the fight ended up being fuck. Oh my. Oh, I'm falling asleep just thinking about it. Man. Oh, I wish I was making that on it. I am pretty tired about that. That's pretty funny. But yeah. Let me know in the comments down below. What do you think about Ilia Topuria facing Gaethje at MSG? Would you have booked Arman Sarukian or another contender? Would you have done Patty? Maybe we'll do a video on Patty versus Ilia relatively soon here, but let me know what you think down below. Finally, a topic that's not Roger Jackson to cover, but yeah. Thanks for watching. Later.